So hello guys, welcome to javaisawesome, and in this video we can talk about first app of a Spring Boot MVC. So we are going to develop a Spring Boot MVC applications, which is our first applications. Okay, so I will explain you procedures like how we can develop it, and also I will develop and I will show you also each and everything I will do. Okay, so the procedure to develop a web application in the Spring Boot, we have some things to sequence we have to follow. So first thing is create a Spring Boot starter project. Okay, create a Spring Boot starter project. Okay, simply if you are using the IntelliJ, you have to create from the Spring initializers and you can import it. If you are using the eclipse or maybe VS Code, or maybe you are using the eclipse or STS or VS Code, then you can go to your ID. You can just open your ID and you can go to the files, and in the files you can see here one option called a Spring starter project. Once you click on that, project will be creation is started here. Okay, here you can give the your project name, each and everything, and you can create your project. So this is the first step. Okay, create a Spring Boot starter project using the any id in STS, maybe STS id, or maybe you are using the IntelliJ, then create to the Spring initializers. Okay, next thing is second point is choose some dependency which is required to develop a Spring Boot MVC. Okay, choose some dependency while creating a project or creating a web application project. So whenever you're creating a project, that time you required some dependency called a Spring Boot starter web. So a Spring Boot starter web dependency you required. Okay, this dependency will provide lots of the things. I will explain you one by one. Okay, and next thing is you want, if what are the technology you are using. If you are using the TimeLeaf, then you have to add the TimeLeaf dependency. If you are using something called JSP or Servlet or maybe JSP, then you have to use the Tomcat, embedded Jasper, right? Those dependencies required. So in that project we are going to use the JSP. So I need Tomcat, embedded Jasper. This is one of the dependency which is compiling the JSP file. Okay, Java server page JSP file. So that we need to add those dependency which is required. If you ask me to explain like what it will do, a Spring Boot web. Okay, so I will tell you. A Spring Boot starter web provide below 3 functionality. First thing is it will support. Okay, it will support to build a web app based on the Spring MVC. Okay, the first thing is it will support, write 1 point, otherwise just give hyphen or maybe write the point also. So point number 1, it support what, to build web app based on Spring MVC. Okay, second point is supports to build a RESTful service. Third point is provides Tomcat as embedded container. provides Tomcat as embedded container. This is the responsibility of a Spring Boot starter web dependency. So basically the peoples want Tomcat, okay, any servers. So they will provide the embedded Tomcat server, okay. It will provide the RESTful services also. It will provide to create a Spring MVC application also. That's why we need this dependency, a Spring Boot starter web. Now let's understand what is the benefit of Jasper. Okay. So Jasper benefit is it is used to compile. It is used to compile what? JSP file. Okay. And if you don't add it, view will download instead of rendering. If you don't add it view whatever the files, maybe JSP files, will download instead of rendering. So this is the problems you are going to face if you not provide this dependency to your applications. Okay, so a Spring Boot starter Jasper is also very important while working with JSP. So this is the two dependency which you have to add in your project. Okay, let's go with the third point. Create a user defined Spring controlled class. Okay, and then after you can do all this work, but as of now just create your application and add those two files. Okay, so I'm going to my ID and I will give the name called a Spring Boot 01 MVC. Okay, this is my first step. First MVC application. Okay, com.app, Java 17, Java, it's fine. And here if you go, you can see a Spring web. Okay, and let's search with Jasper or Tomcat. Tomcat is not available. Jasper is also not available. So you have to pick from the Maven dependency. Okay, so go to the Googles and search what we have to search: Tomcat embedded Jasper Maven dependency. If you see here, it's came Tomcat embedded Jasper Maven dependency. Open it. So that is called Maven repository. So from the Maven repository, what are the external jars you required, so you can download it. So Tomcat embedded Jasper, I'm going with the current one. Okay, this is the latest one version because I'm using the Spring Boot latest also. So I will go with that version. Or maybe in the Spring itself it will manage the version also, so you don't want to provide the version itself, it will take care. Let me open it. My net is let's go. And this is the dependency: Tomcat Apache embedded, Tomcat embedded Jasper. So I'm just copy, go to our ID, and in ID this is the Spring Boot first step. So I will open the pom.xml, and in the pom.xml I will put those dependency and I will download those jar, right? Open the pom.xml It's taking some time. We can go and we can add those particular dependency below the web. Okay, just add it, format it, check it. Automatically building is a static. Okay, and you don't want version, you can remove it, save it. This particular line also we don't want, remove it, save it. Okay, maybe jar will download it. Now let's go to your points. Our application is ready now. If you see, our application is ready. We have added our everything. Now the next point what we have to do is we have to create the controllers. So create user defined Spring controller class. So create user defined Spring controller class. Spring controller class, or write required method in the controller class and bind those controller method to the URL patterns. Okay, write required methods in controller class and bind those method to URL pattern. This is the things you have to do. Let me go to the next line and format it. Okay, so this is the third points which we have to do. Next things what we have to do. Okay, how we can create the controller class? So we have one annotation called @controllers. What is the annotations? @controllers. So, you can use this @controller annotations to represent any class as a controller class, to represent Java class as a Spring controller. So whatever the class you are going to write as a controller, which we have to rotate at the controller, so that it will become a Spring controller class. Okay, next is @request mapping. You have request mapping. These are the another annotations which you have to use to bind the method to methods to URL pattern. URL pattern means slash something, which is URL pattern. Okay, so if you see, like from the users, if he is sending some request, /message/welcome, those call will come to the controllers, and controllers having a methods. So based on that methods, we have a binded those actions and it will perform those actions. Okay, so if you want, I will explain with the diagram also, but I don't think it's required. Okay, you understood maybe. Controller methods are going to return model and view object, right? Controller methods are going to return model and view object, right? Model and view object. Model is nothing but it is used to store the data in the key value pairs. Model is nothing but model. It is used to represent to represent data in key value pair. Right, and view is nothing but logical file name. View is nothing but logical file name. Only file name without extension. Only file name. Only file name without extension. That is called a what? Controller. So in the controllers we are going to create a methods. In the methods we have a one methods we can bind with the particular URL patterns, and then with the help of the request mapping we can create the controller with the help of the @ controllers. In the controllers we can represent model and view, and we can send those data to the particular view name. And file name is nothing but JSP or HTML without extension. So just file name you have to give in that place. Okay, this is the third step which we have to follow. Next is create a view component and access data available in model object using the key. So create view component, create a view component and access data available in model object using key. Okay, and 5th step is what? Configure below details in the application.properties file. So some configurations also we have to do. So configure below details in application.properties or maybe application.yml file. What are the files you are using? Okay, the first step is you can configure like if your system already running in some port number which is Tomcat default port number 8080, then you have to specify some other port number which is embedded container port. Okay, so whenever in your system having already occupy someone other those port 8080, then you have to use some other port number, then your application will start, otherwise it will not start. Okay, view resolver. So you have to specify the view resolver path also, like where the view files are available, where the view files are available, or you can say where is the representation files or presentation files, where is the presentation files. In the 6 steps what you have to do is run application or a Spring Boot application from main method. So application is started with the main method only, because in the Spring or Spring MVC having a main method class which is default class or a starter class. From that only your application will start. In the 7 steps, hit or test our test our application functionality. So how you can add the view resolvers or port numbers? So embedded port numbers, if you want to change in the config files, you can write server.port, and you can write your port number something else, not 8081. Maybe 8080 is already occupied someone, so then you can write 8081 or 8082. It's depend on you. View resolvers path, if you want to specify, you can specify like spring.mvc dot view dot suffix or prefix you have to provide. So you have a context path, which is the base location. From that you can say so the base location is nothing but I will tell you, this is the context path or base location you can say, which is src/main/web app. Inside the web app, what are the folders you are going to create? Those folder you have to specify as a prefix. So view dot prefix equal to maybe slash views. You are going to create some files, so you have to specify like that. Or what is the suffix, which is extension you have to provide. So spring dot mvc dot view dot suffix is nothing but dot gsp we are going to use. So those you have to provide. So after web, it will create one more folder called views, and in the views you have the file name, which is maybe index.jsp you are going to create. So this is the way to represent each and everything. But this one is the context path, or maybe it's automatically, it's a global, it will automatically represent it if you add the web dependency in your applications. Okay guys, so I hope you understood, and I hope you can develop your own also this application. No need to help also. So from my side, if you don't take also help, I hope you can develop these applications. Okay, these are the steps which I have explained you. Okay, it's a very simple steps which I have written. Okay, if you see this step also, you can write your code and you can develop your applications. Okay, so let's start development now. Okay, Spring Boot first application. So let's start development now. Create a user defined controller class. So go to your main class, and in the main class we have, this is the main class which having a main methods. Or why my system is slow? Okay, so this is the main class, or a starter class also you can say, and this one having a main methods inside this. And if you go here, you can see the properties files. By default it's giving the properties files, but you can modify it also. Okay, so I am going to create one controllers package, and in this package I will create one class also, which is something first controller. Okay, so I'm going to change the package dot controller, and I will give the class name first controller. Okay, first controllers. In the first controllers, the class I have to annotate @controller, so that class will become what? A Spring controllers. This is the controllers, which is coming from the ORGS framework, stereotype.controllers. Okay, in these controllers I have to create one methods. So I will create one methods public, or model and view. Let's say some simple methods I'm going to create. Welcome my page. Okay, or a welcome to MVC. This is my method name, and this method names I need to bind with the URL pattern. So for that I have to use @request mapping, and in the request mapping I have to pass the path. Hey, this one is slash, or maybe you can pass like slash welcome. Okay, welcome request mapping. So by default it's a get request right now. Okay, inside this what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one model and view object, model and view, which is mav object equal to new model and view, and in that model and view I am going to add map dot add object, which is key value, and here I will pass something called message. Okay, and here I will say welcome to Spring Boot MVC. Welcome to Spring Boot MVC. I have written this message, and this message I have added into the mav object, and in the mav object I will add the dot set file name, also view name, and view name is nothing but index. This is the index.jsp, which we will create later, but as of now just I have added index, which we have to give the logical view name, and return what? This mav object, which is model and view. So from the controllers we have to return this model and view. Here you can write value also. Okay, it's saying like what is the suggestion? Use precise mapping annotation, get mapping, post mapping. Don't use the this request mapping. So I think it's going to deprecate it. So if you see, it's not deprecated, but it's recommending to use something called get mapping, post mapping, but maybe in the future it will deprecate it. Okay, so slash welcome I have given. You can give it either value, otherwise not required also. Just value is also fine. Welcome is fine. Okay, and this is the index. So how view resolver will understood where is this? So for that you have to represent it. Okay, so what we can do is we can go to the application.properties files. If you need to change the port numbers, you can change it, server.port, and server.port you can give something called 8082, right? And you can search here view Spring MVC view prefix is slash views slash, and then you can search view, go to the suffix, we are going to use GSP, so extension is GSP. So this is the configurations which we have to do for the view files, and we have created the view file name is called index.index, correct? So what I'm going to do is in the src, if you go down src main, we have to create one web folder. So we can create web folder. Inside the web folders we can create our views folder, which we have represented here like slash views. We have our GSP files. So here I will create my file name, which is GSP. So search here GSP. So I am able to see here GSP. Somebody peoples may not able to see. So what you have to do is go to the help section, go to the Eclipse marketplace, and from the Eclipse marketplace we have to download web, which is supporting the GSP extension, which you have to install it. Once you install and once you restart your STS application, it will automatically reflect it. Okay, but maybe sometimes people are facing and somebody already have, maybe while installing that time only they have not installed those things, but after that also you can install it. Okay, so what you have to do is, once it will come, I will search here wave. Once I will search the wave, I got lots of the option, but in that option I will select the extension which is providing me the GSP also, and those I will download. Then after I am able to see the GSP file also in my application. So here I will go and I will search wave. Okay, once I done the search wave, it's going to filter, and if you see here, Eclipse web developer is providing the HTML, CSS, JSON, JavaScript developments, Eclipse web tools platforms, but it's not mentioned the JSP. So I will go down to new extension. He providing the embedded enterprise, what Java beans, Java enterprise annotations, fragment controller, Java web application, Java server page JSF, Java server page JSP. So it's providing the installation for that. So what I will do, I will click on installed. So I have already installed it. So I have installed first one and second one. So I have already installed this. If you not installed, please install it. Okay, which is Eclipse Enterprise Java and Web Developer Tools. Once you install it, it will ask like that, it will show you to you. Once you click on the install, you install previous one, I'm just showing you with the second one. It will tell you to select accept it, so you have to accept it, and then after you have to download, so it will download for you also. Let me cancel for me, I don't want, I have already have. Okay, so those you have to download. Okay, once you download, you have to restart your application, it will show. If you not, please comment below, I will help you. Okay, here go to here and just search the JSP. So I'm getting the JSP options. Here you can write index.jsp, index.jsp page, and click on the next and finish it. Once you finish it, you can see here we are getting those pages. In this page, what we have to do is, from the controllers we are sending some message as a key value pair. So this message is a key, and this welcome to a Spring Boot is a value, and this is the JSP file. So what we can do is, we can try to display those files here. So I'm going to write h1. Okay, and in the expression language dollars, I will write here message. Give only one, not two. Save it. Once you save it, okay, whatever you want to write something else, you can write it here also. Some p tag. Welcome to javaisawesome. Welcome to. You can create form also. Lots of the things you can do here. Okay. So I have just written one welcome message, and in the below I am printing those controller message. That's it. Okay. Now the step is, what our step is saying, once you develop all those things, what you have to do, configurations is also done, right? Then run your application and test it. Okay, so I'm going to run my application now. So this is our application. Okay, and if you see here, we have index.jsp file here, which is specifying our location /views. Okay, and let's run these applications. Spring Boot app. Once application will start in the port number 8081, then how we can access our particular controller, which is welcome. So it's binded with our what? Patterns or URL mappings. So with the help of the URL mappings, we can access it. So if you see here, application is just started, port number is this one, and they are using the Tomcat, which is embedded Tomcat. We have not configured any other Tomcat externally. It's a inbuilt Tomcat. Okay, and if you see, it's saying like it's running on local host. Okay, we are running in our system, which is local host. Okay, local host. So what I'm going to do is, this is the HTTP colon, this is the port numbers. So what we have to do is, next is we have to prepare the URL to access those. Okay, so the application which is running in the locally in our application, those application we can access with the some URL, right? If you want to access Google, you are writing google.com. In the same way, the application which is running in our local, we have to write http colon /localhost, localhost, and then after you have to specify the port number, like in which port number it's running. So our application is running 8081, and then after, what is the URL binding, which is welcome we have written. So this is the specification which we have to follow. So generally what we are saying is, this is the http colon /, this is the server IP, this is server IP, and this is the server port, and then after slash we are giving the URL pattern. This is the URL patterns. So with the help of this particular URL, we can access our application with the help of the browser. So this is already running our application, you can see here. Let's go to the browser and try to hit this. What? http colon / localhost colon 8081, not 8081 / welcome. If you hit enter, it will render and it will show you the JSP page. So this is our JSP page, index.html. So this is the message which we have written, welcome to javaisawesome, into our file, and this message is coming from the controller, welcome to Spring Boot MVC, which I will show you here. Welcome to Spring Boot MVC, and this is our index.jsp file. So this message we have written, and this message is coming from where? From our controllers. So how exactly it's happening? Okay, let me explain you. So what exactly happening is, inside this, from the browsers we are hitting this URL, localhost 8081 / welcome. So this is the URL. While entering this URL, it's calling to our dispatcher servlet. Dispatcher servlet is sending request to the handler mapper. Handler mapper is identifying which controller having a capacity, or who is responsible to handle those requests. So handler mapper will identify those things, details, and he will send to the dispatcher servlet. Based on that, dispatcher servlet will call this our controller, first controller having a responsibility to call /welcome. He have a responsibility. He will call this methods. This method is what it's doing. It's accepting those requests. He creating the model and view, which is Mav object. He putting some model data, which is some data, and then after he putting the logical view name of the representation file, and he sending it back to the dispatcher servlet. Again dispatcher servlet saying, hey, I got the response, and I got the data and logical view name. So he calling to the view resolver. View resolver is taking this file name. He's saying, okay, this file name where it's available. So he is going to the configurations. he will check, okay, views he configure into the this particular path slash views and extension is .jsp. So he will find the path. Okay, in the main web app views having a one file called views, in the in the views having a index.jsp. So this file path he will take care with the extension, and he will return back to the dispatcher servlet. Again, dispatcher servlet, what it will do? Dispatcher servlet will take this view resolver response, and he will send the data and views name path to the view component. View will render those data into the JSP file, which is index.jsp files, and once it is come to here, our dispatcher servlet finally returning it back to the our response to the browsers, and then we are able to see those particular response data. So all those things are happening internally. Okay, but what we are able to see, we are able to see some of the things. Okay, some of the things we are able to see, some of the things we are not able to see exactly. Internally it's happening, but all those things, what are the theory I have teach you, that is very very important. Please go with that and try to understand, and also try to develop this project. Okay, which is a Spring Boot MVC first application. That is very very important. Any doubt you have, please let me know, I will help you on that. Okay, how to create web app file, definitely you have to create. Up to main it's available. Some of the application you can see web app also available. So in the web app you have to create the view, and if you not create also, that is fine, just you have to write index.jsp. okay, so I hope you understood, and you are capable to build this project and do this project. Okay, this is the controller annotations we have used to create the controller class. This is the request mapping. Here you can write @get mapping also, because by default request mapping is working as a get mapping. In the next video we can discuss some more little about it, but in this video that's it. Thank you so much, and we got the response which is coming from the backend.